Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today got a little project I'm working on with my horizontal boring mill, and I haven't been doing a whole lot on camera, but we've been slowly doing some work to that. Again, mostly with my helpers that have been coming in. But in the process of getting things cleaned up and just trying to get it looking a little bit nicer on that machine, we pulled a couple of handles off, and these are for adjusting different speeds and feeds on the machine. There's two handles down here that just go into some different slots. They have a little pull piece on here that pulls in a little piece that goes into an indentation in the front, and you just lock this into place. Similar type mechanism on a lot of machines. There was two handles on the front. One of the little spring-loaded knobs had been hit, broken off at some point in time. Previous owner just been using a pair of vice grips and gripping them and pulling them out. I want to fix this and basically make a new piece to go in there. So that's going to be today's project, doing that over on the lathe. Let me zoom you in here, show you what we got to do, and then let's get to work doing it. So here again are the two handles and the two knobs, and as you can see here, again, you got a little pin on the front. This is spring loaded. You pull it back and it locks into place. This is the one that was broken. Basically, there's this handle back here goes up on a stem. It's pinned in place, and where that hole went through there, it was a weak spot. It looks like probably someone bumped it, who knows, with a forklift or something like that. I'm just guessing, but it snapped that handle off. So this one here needs to be completely rebuilt. Let's knock this one out so you can kind of see how it works. Hammer here, this one here is bent a little bit. It's not wanting to just come out as easy as it should, but I think we can knock it out. I'm just taking a punch, and there it goes. There's the pin that's broken, and there's a spring that fits up in a little recess here that gives it that spring-loaded action. So let's look at a good one here. This one here, basically you got the same type mechanism up here, but you got this handle on the back, and it's got a larger piece, so it prevents it from going back up on there. And that is pinned in place, looks like with a tapered pin. We'll just knock that pin out. There we go. So that's a tapered pin, and there we go. That handle just comes right off, and you can see what the pin's supposed to look like. So game plan, I'm gonna make a new pin, a new handle. Actually, I think while I'm at it, I'm just gonna replace both of them. That way they'll match and look the same, even though there's really nothing wrong with this one. I'm probably just gonna do two. So I got some metal over here. We're gonna go over to the lathe and probably start with the pins, get those turned first, and then we'll do the handles, take a little bit of knurling on those to get the handle in there just right. But should be pretty straightforward. Let's do it. We're gonna start by making this a new stem here. And I think what I'll do is start by facing the end. We'll put a center in the end to give some support. We'll turn this outside diameter first, and then we'll turn the diameter of the stem second. I'll flip it around and cut the little detent piece final. So let's fire up the lathe, and we'll get started with it. See how this insert cuts. It looks like it may need to be replaced. See what kind of finish we get. It didn't look too bad. And we'll come in here with a center. So this outside diameter is about 685 thou, which pretty well matches the hole over there. It's an oddball size. This piece of stock in here is 3/4, so we got about 65 thou to cut off of that. We'll come in here, we'll touch off, and I'm just going to do about a 20 thou cut. Go down through there. A little bit of run out in the stock, but of course we'll turn that out right here. cut that off, and we should be able to finish up in the next pass here. All right, that's got that diameter there pretty well, the outside diameter, so basically this area in here is measuring right on the money. So now we want to turn the stem down. So next we'll turn the stem. I put a mark on here where I want to turn to, and that's going to go down to 7/16, which is 0.4375. We're starting out at about, what was that, 685, so we got a couple hundred thou to come off of this. And I'm just going to start by turning 100 thou. That's going to be right on the money. That's just going to fit up inside that hole we drilled. So, all right. I'm just going to break these corners. A little chamfer there. And there. We will park that off and flip it around. I'll just use the old one as a guide to get the length. It's not super critical here. And we'll take the live center off. We don't want that to be grabbing it when it falls out. And just park that right off. Go. We got that turned around, and we're going to turn the other side of that. That's just a little piece that goes in there. I think that's 3/8. I'll double check it here in a minute. But we're going to start by just facing this back side, get a good, nice surface there. Let's see, this piece here goes in about 300 thou. That goes in about 300 thou. Give me a line to turn down to. And that is 3/8 inch in diameter, 375. We're at about 685 right now. Cut that down. Should be it, 375, right on the money. Nice champ for those, break those edges. Sit that little emery, kind of polish it up a little bit. And there we go. That looks like it's all finished up. All right, I'm gonna make another one of these off camera, and then we'll make the part that it fits up on the back side. Next here we got the little handle piece to make, and this is 1 inch diameter up here where the knurling is. I've got a piece of stock. This is actually about 1 1/8 inches. So I'm gonna turn that down to 1 inch to start with, and then we'll finish it on out. First, like usual, we'll face this front. Come in here, touch off. Go ahead and take 100 thou out. About 25 more thou needs to come off. And right on one, that's where we need to be. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this little area down on where the smaller area is before we knurl it. And let's get some material cut off. That goes down to about 675. Grate these corners. I think I'm gonna go ahead and drill the hole in here. So I'm gonna start with a center. Give me a little dimple to start my hole on. I've got a 7/16 inch drill bit here, and I wanna see how far deep I need to go. So I'm just gonna slide the original part up on there, and I just took a Sharpie pen and marked, and that'll tell me where I need to stop drilling to go to the same depth as the original. And we'll come in here and drill this out. Coming up on that little Sharpie pen mark, right there. All right, I think we're ready to knurl this. I got my knurling tool in here. I've got a live center in the end to give me some support because I'm gonna be pushing against this pretty hard. And I got my cutters in there. I'm gonna come off. And let's just come across there. And there we go. And that looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna be happy with that. That's fine. Just a light knurl, just something to give you a little bit of a grip. And it pretty well matches what was in the original. All right, looks good. So what I'm gonna do now is just turn a little piece down on each end to break that knurl up. And I'm just gonna get just underneath the knurl cut, a little bit on both sides. I got a cutter going straight in there. Let's see what that looks like comparing to the original. Maybe just a little bit more. I'm just kind of doing this by hand. Okay, that looks good. And I'm just going to kind of hold this up here. Eyeball where I want to start that other one out, about right there. We'll just feed in. I looked at my number on my dial, so I know to go to the same number. That's going to be parted off, but I'm just cutting a little bit extra there. I want to put a nice break on this corner here. I'm just putting a little bit of a chamfer going into that knurl. I'm just kind of going down until I'm just barely, not even touching the part we just turned, but just relieving that back. It'll just feel better in the hand. And we're going to part this off the length. I'm just coming in here and marking that in there where it needs to make it the same length as the old one. I'm going to take my center out so we don't have any support on that end. Turn that part around backwards, and like we said, we're going to come in here and face the back side of this, get a nice finish on it. Original was a little bit more rolled. Just going to kind of take a file and do similar there. And with that, I think we got it, the lathe work done. Turning is all done. There's how the original one's set up. I've put a little mark on here on how far these need to go up into these castings, and boy, that's a tight fit. I can feel the air pressure behind it. I'm gonna have to put that over the lathe and just sand that one ever so slightly. It doesn't want to quite go up in there. That one there, same thing. It's just there's pressure, air pressure behind it. But that one's marked. What I'm going to do is go to the mill machine. We will drill these and put a pin in there. I'll go get this one where it will fit, and I'll meet you over at the mill machine. I'm over in the mill machine, and I got my part set where I want the pin to go through, and I'm holding this in there. I just got a little V-block in my vise that's holding it nice and snug. I've already centered this up with the center finder. I didn't show that, but I did it, and I'm just eyeballing the center on this shaft. It really doesn't matter that much. Got a center drill in there. I'm just using this to get me a center started. Just put me a little peck there, enough for my drill bit. And we're going to be using a tapered reamer to make a tapered hole for a tapered pin. And I'm starting with a drill bit. This is a number 25 drill bit, which will give me clearance for that reamer to go down to cut the taper. So we'll just drill this all the way through. I can feel it going through the stem now. All right, right, we are through. Put this little oil on there. This is a straight flute reamer. I prefer using a spiral flute reamer for this, but I don't have one in the right size. This is a number 1. But what we're going to do is just kind of go down through there, and that's going to just put a little bit of a taper all the way up and down this hole. All right, my reamer was just coming out the end, and you have to be real careful with this because you can go too deep in a hurry, and it's a matter of just finding the fit. So we've still got some more to go here. Fair amount to go actually, so come on back. That's why I don't like using a straight flute reamer. All right, I think I can pop that out the bottom. Here it comes. All right, let me go see what I got in the way of reamers over there, see if I can find something better. All right, so a little lesson here, and one that I knew, but I was going to try to cheat. I'm using this style reamer right here. It has straight flutes. If you notice on the top, it's got a thing to fit up into a tap handle. This is a hand reamer, and it's designed for doing by hand. This style reamer is a chucking reamer, and it's designed to go into a chuck and to kind of use power with. And I don't have a chucking reamer in the correct size, and I was trying to cheat and do chucking with the hand reamer. So what I'm resorting to do now, guys, is I've got my hand reamer in a hand tap, and I'm just gonna do this by hand and get it to the right size. And it's just a matter of going back and forth, some trial and error here until that pin drops down in there like it's supposed to. Where did my pin go? And you see we're going down in there, not quite deep enough. So finesse it some more here. You've got to be real careful with these tapered reamers. The taper is very slight, and it does not take much to go too far, and then your pin drops in farther than it should. So take your time, check it frequently until you get it just right. And keep in mind, each time I'm doing this, it's going in just a little bit deeper, but keep in mind that you need for it to be sticking up just a little bit, because when you tap it home at the very end, it's going to go down probably between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. So actually, that is probably about right there. I think I'm going to take it just a tad bit more, but it doesn't need much, and that one's going to be just right. All right. All right, when I tap that one home, it's going to be just right. And I think we are ready to put these back together. So, pull that one out. Bring it over here. The spring goes up in there. That's spring loaded. We get that pin lined up. Drop the pin in. You get a hammer and punch. All right, that tapered pin is now locked in place. And we have a nice spring-loaded handle there. Let's do the other one. Same process here. Pull the pin. Put the spring on. I put a little mark on those so I could tell which side was the top. Should hopefully line up. Maybe have to tap it just a tad bit more. There we go. And that one's just right as well. All right, 2 new spring-loaded pins and handles. All right, so this handle, I marked them so I knew which one goes to which one, because those pins will only line up. The tapered pin and the shaft down here will only line up on one or the other, but this one goes on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it up there. Now, there's a tapered pin in here, so I've got a tapered punch here. This will kind of roughly get those two aligned. I'm just using that to go down that hole, and now hopefully my tapered pin that goes in here, yep, will line right up, and we'll tap that one home. And we got 3 different positions that this one can go in. The machine needs to be running really to go from, well, no, there you go. Go from one to the other. And you can see our little handle and spring locks it right into that pin. Pull it out, go to the next one. Here's where our second handle goes. Same process as before. Get it up on there. Let's see if we can get this at least started. I think the pin will go now. Yep. There we go. And our second handle is installed. Same thing here. We can go from one spot to another, and it just locks in place. Much improved. This one here was the one that had the vice grips, or they were using vice grips to grab a hold of that. But that is just like the original now, and those look good. They match, and they pretty much are identical to the originals. And I thought I'd just go ahead and let you take a sneak peek at the HPM, the horizontal boring mill. I've been cleaning. Everything done to it so far has really been cosmetic, except for this first little repair that I've done here. But man, this thing is looking a lot nicer. We still got a lot of work to do to it. And when I start doing more rebuilding work, I'll bring you guys in and share more with you. But everything to date's just really been stripping off old paint, putting on new paint, and making it cosmetically look a lot better. And that it is. And there we go. Just like it's supposed to work. You know, when I bought this machine, I went out and looked at it first and met the gentleman that had it before me. He's one of my viewers. He's probably watching this. He told me, he said, you know, hey, that handle's broken. I've been meaning to fix it for years, just haven't taken the time to do it. Been using a pair of vice grips, but there you go. We got it fixed. It's back like it's supposed to be, and should hopefully last another 100 years. That's the game plan anyway. I hope it does. But with that, guys, that is going to be a wrap. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications when new videos are posted. Thumbs up are appreciated, as are those comments. And guys, we will catch you on the next video. As always, thanks for watching.